Good morning, people. Uh, Welcome to my ad hoc ranting today, uh, April 4th, 2022. So, to sum up some facts for you, European citizens, uh, all the rants that I've done before, some of which you laughed at, some of which you doubted, turned out to be true. And here they are. I'm going to sum things up for you. First, how sad and barbaric this Bucha massacre was. Enough said. But then that's the fact of the matter. First of all, Biden and others are helping Pustalini, basic and simple, supporting him. Two, they made statements disclosing their uh, uh, plans and unveiling their intentions, whether it's Pustalini threatening Sweden and Finland, or United States saying that they won't help anyone. In fact, I doubt that NATO means anything anymore, even though it's still formal. But when push comes to shove and things expand, uh, I think they're going to act like take the back seat and sit down and relax uh, and watch things unfold because they are under duress, under pressure. It used to be, not anymore. Of course, now they are part and parcel of that edifice, of that tripod of Israel, right? And they are telling them to sit back and relax because, according to them, this is a new world coming into Europe. New world, if you will, new world order, or whatever it is. So, rule number one, what is going on is entire Europe, but they discovered that this is a very high obstacle to surmount or cross over. Two, if they do, you European citizen, average, ordinary European citizen who's going about their daily lives, work, family, knowledge, studying, and whatever it is very obvious now you're in the eyes of Pustalini and their cohorts, of course. That is of the United States and of other European countries and so on, establishments, I mean. No different from the Syrians or those Sunnis of Syria or of Iraq or of Chechnya or Afghanistan or anywhere else. That has been proven now in the unfortunate events that are taking place in Ukraine. And that's in Bucha in particular, the massacre of Bucha. I mean, some people here they're not even, they're so oblivious to it here in the media and here and there that it deserves a lot of coverage and it deserves a lot of, the feelings that are exhibited and displayed and sensed by us of those media people, of politicians and so on, should really be more reactive, should be more intense toward what happened in Ukraine. But no, we don't see that. So Europeans, you're on your own, and the consideration for you is not different from that of the Sunnis, and that Pustalini has disclosed his plot and his plan, whether by words or even action, that the entire European continent is at his crosshair and on the menu, and even beyond that, perhaps. So my advice to you folks is really don't ignore the situation anymore. If you're an establishment and you're confused about what to do because there's that pressure on you from Israel, or if you're part of Israel, then some of your establishments in there are directly Israelis. So there you go. The facts are very clear, and what's looming on the horizon is pretty bad, and that Pustalinians will not back down. They are forced back now, and uh, what happened to them is almost a total collapse. However, they will come back again. Their purpose, these people don't function on per battle basis, on per war basis, on they're the ones who ignite wars. They're the ones who manage things around it, and they're the ones who commit atrocities such as happened in Ukraine and in Syria and in Iraq and Afghanistan and Chechnya and Yemen and Libya and here and there in Africa. In Africa, there were horrors taking place in Africa you guys didn't hear about. So these are the facts, European citizen. And if you are unmoved and swayed by what's going on next to you and what's coming your way, that's what they're gonna do to you when they come to your cities, especially those Germanic and Scandinavians. They will blood purge you. I said this before, you probably doubted it and dismissed what I said, but hey, it's very obvious. They will so blood purge you that they will make sure now, if they collapse again, that the grounds and the environments and societies of Europe will not be free and try to regain its freedom and its liberty and so on and so forth, even though partially. So these are the rules, Europeans. Try to wake up and it's time now. Point number two, whoever is giving Europe, Ukraine anything, it's like junk, you know. So now is the time, really, to donate weapons and intelligence information and whatever you can help to Ukraine. Ukraine cannot keep begging you for assistance, folks. If they're doing you a favor by defending you, you're not doing them a favor. Let's put it this way. Yeah, they are the ones who are defending you, not you them. And least you can do is really push full support into that theater. Two, this is a motive for you folks. Bocha is as sad as it is. It was far exceeded in horror in Syria and Chechnya and Afghanistan and Yemen and Central African Republic. Oh, Central African Republic, you don't hear much about that. Oh, there were some massacres going on in there and so on. And you know, things of the sort, right? But it is a motive for you Europeans to really begin to take into consideration what's going on and formulate your position and situation. Because when push comes to shove and post-Stalinins are in your country, you will not have what you have now. You know, like nice job, total freedom of speech, of life, nobody bothers you at home, and so on and so forth. They will only allow you to continue living under them if you abandon totally the power structure of your country and live like serfs, right? With whatever little you can live with. That thing they have for you, even though they're already in the establishment, is not enough for them, folks. What they're trying to do is divide society into them being the gods, right? And gods without mercy. And the others living like animals, basic and simple. So it's now or never, folks. Even though Ukraine is won this war, and the Soviets collapsed in Ukraine, and although there are some probably remnants here and there, these guys can make a comeback. It's that simple. Israel is gonna provide them with weapons from China and United States and intelligence and financial assistance and so on and so forth. And they're doing that now, actually. So they're going to regroup and come back. Ukraine did what they did. And if it happens again, I believe Ukraine will do it again. But why do you Scandinavians and Germanic and French and whoever you are, Italians, Eastern Europeans, Hungary, Bulgaria, Romania, Poland, why do you want to wait until things unfold and then you leave your eastern flanks in a brittle situation, meaning if they come back again, they can score, right? You can, they have to know that there is a formidable defense for Scandinavia, for Germany, for and so on and so on. And not just that, that you're willing to use it. And the only way for them to know that you're willing to use it is by you intervening in Ukraine now. Enough said about that. So these are the facts, my friends, and I hope you wake up to them and realize what's going on. Post-Stalinine, although he appears to be like you in color and so on, no, he's not you. He is far closer and very blood-related and religious-related and religion-related and creed-related to the Ayatollahs, mullahs of Iran and the Chinese regime and the Netanyahus and those rulers of Arab Gulf countries than you are. And he has no such consideration for you, folks. So it is now or never. So stop giving Ukraine minuscule amount of weapons or whatever it is, junk, and start giving them real help and substantial assistance. Bypass the government there in Ukraine. Don't worry about the government. Just give it to the army. And just remember, folks, just remember, between the collapse of the Soviets and their exit, between the destruction of the Soviets in Afghanistan and their exit from your territory, until now, that was a good reprieve. You didn't make use of it. Of course, Israel made sure that is the case. But it's never too late. For you, Scandinavians, Germanics, it's never too late. And eventually, if you rise up in force, the establishment there will be convinced that they have to intervene or else. And just remember, you were oblivious to what happened in Chechnya, to the atrocities and the horror that happened in Chechnya and Syria and Afghanistan and here and there, way back, when the Soviets came in. And there was not Qaeda, there was not ISIS, there was not Taliban, there was not anything. And you were oblivious to it, but now it seems to be coming to you. And I say that, and you seem also to have an amnesia of what happened to you in the last century. All you need to do is go back in time and research the history of Europe during World War I and World War II and what's after, or what's between. And then you will learn that this thing from the East, that post-Stalinine, that bloodsucker weasel, didn't change, not one iota in nature. Instead, their hatred toward you has intensified and increased dramatically. It's that simple, folks. It's sad what happened in Bucha, but in Syria, in Homs, and Aleppo, and Damascus, and here and there, it was horror, folks. It was horror. Millions perished. In Syria. Now in Ukraine, hundreds are killed or murdered, maybe 1,000, maybe 2, or whatever it is. And Ukraine is 45 million, right? In Syria, the population was 21 million. 85% were Sunnis. 2 million were murdered. So what is that? 10%? 10% of the population was murdered, and the rest were basically dispatched. They became refugees living in tents and so on. And the feelings toward you Western Europeans, is no different. Is no different, period. Now notice, there is a point to notice. When Russia and China and the United States and the UN above them intervened on behalf of the regime in Syria, that minority despotic regime, that is worse than Lenin and Stalin and Putin and Ayatollahs and so on. They intervened on his behalf, on their behalf, because that's what Israel wants, right? Told them do this and they do that. Israel doesn't want these Muslims around the vicinity. They want to completely cleanse, ethnic cleanse and religious cleanse these people from their surroundings. But now the question is, why did they send them to Europe, to Germany in particular, and not to Russia and Iran, those refugees? Just think about it. Have a nice day, my friends. And I wish you really reconsider your positions toward Ukraine and intervene now.